Revenge for their Chaos brethren here. Mirage is the map once again that we'll be doing battle on. And Ancient over on the T side. Disco Doppler donning that utility. Freddy B already out from ramp doing some damage, but not quite able to find anything on the back of it. Ooh. It is getting tested, but won't give anything up just yet. They back away from ramp. They still have Disco Doppler here with that one smoke. That's going to get thrown in. This looks like it should be a fake from Ancient, but Config could throw a spanner in the works. He's got the bomb. He's spotted it. And now OpTic have a very good idea, at least what the idea was in this round from Ancient. Bomb won't get dropped, however. It is still over in the apartments. If they head towards this B play, though, there are two players here. One of those is going to be Config, still lurking in the apartments. He'll send Freddy packing, but will get picked up. Plopsky, Rusty, and Disco Doppler, blink of an eye. They've found kills between them, and we're into a 2-on-2.
Yeah, MSL's just trying to stay alive, drop this bomb through the apartments, but he's getting split from short. Rusty hits another blinder of a shot, and Nico, he has the kit, smoke, and armor. Wealthy man right now. Can he pick up the 1v2 to get back into this pistol round? Has spotted the planter, crawling up towards the site, and all cross towards the left side is Plopsky. Doesn't need to commit to the duel. Would rather his teammate from the catwalk make first contact on the cross, but he's not going to. They're waiting for the bomb tap. Nico closes it, and Plopsky hits the shot. Ancient pick up that pistol round. They start things off strong on the T side of Mirage, despite Config getting aggressive. That could have been a very awkward situation, but luckily enough, Config, he jumps around the corner, and I think that kind of comes back to hurt him. It throws his aim up into the sky, and he's not able to take that kill. Has to back off into the apartments, and even though he even gets that first kill as the T's push towards B, it's still going to be the round for the Swedes. Great start from them. 1-0 already in favor of Ancient.
Yeah, getting off to a good start. And we get to see the little replay here from Plopsky. He was looking good in the pistol, but heading into this second round, I'm curious what the call's going to be from OpTic, right? They haven't really been chomping at the bit to go for these 4 spies all too often, so maybe just going to see them play things safe. They are over on that CT portion of the map, obviously, so they want to try and get those rifles out. I'm curious if you're going to prioritize grabbing the AWP over in the hands of over in the hands of MSL, and maybe go for a buy here and then look to get the AWP out in the 4th, or do you just eco this one and then go for that safe third round buy?
Probably that one. That's exactly what they did earlier. I mean, at least in the same situation, CT Mirage losing pistol. They just hard ecoed that second round, get USPs, buy up fully third, and then when you have the AWP in, you know, say 2 more rounds time, or earlier if you get it off of a body of an Ancient player. Lots of SMGs though for the Swedes, 3 of them in fact. And OpTic just doing the same thing they did earlier, rushing towards mid with these USPs. Smokes down. So Ancient actually don't spot any of this, and OpTic won't get dealt with any push because Draken throws utility and then doubles back towards the apartment. In the meantime, Ancient ready to execute upon A at the drop of a hat, press of a button, and they'll press lots of buttons. Smoke's flying out onto the site now. OpTic going to be able to rotate round, but there's not really much they can do. Molotovs and Smokes cutting off all these choke points. Something important there is that Ancient throw that Molotov next to the bench. That stops players from getting aggressive through the smoke, something that MSL did a lot earlier on this map.
Yeah, they tried to assemble a boost to see over the top of these smokes, however, it's Draken making quick work at the boost. Config does double up, but he'll quickly get dealt with as well. Ancient able to find that second. And Draken making some money there with the Mach 10. He's now looking to bring that AWP out nice and early for the T side. I keep hyping it up, but I really can't wait to see it. Oh, and he's going to bring it out now. The Aug's in play on the other side of things. You don't have the AWP for MSL, obviously. We'll still be challenging mid. Molotov extinguished down into connector. This means Nico can hang around, and Freddy B was not ready for that. That Molotov missing its mark has given up the early man advantage the way of OpTic. Draken now peeking out from the ramp, missing that flick onto refresh. MSL does get dropped in the meantime. How is Disco Doppler over a ramp to find it? Plopsky still unknown over here in mid. Is going to start to tuck tail back into the lower tunnels and decides to leave it. Ancient looking like they want to try and hit this B bomb site. They've got it back into a 4-on-4. They don't want to lose any more players to the meat grinder over at Ace. Now they turn their attention to safer waters. One man here to try and hold them back. That's a tall order. It's Tessez, the new boy on the block on the other side. He's on the chopping block now. They're forcing their way into him, and Tessez, he's doubled up. He's dropped that bomb, and now he's bought plenty of time for these rotations as well. It's Draken and Disco Doppelin remaining, both in the apartments. And already, all 4 players here for OpTic within the bomb site.
Yeah, Tessez eventually falls, but he gets 2 kills before it. That's so impactful. 30 seconds for Ancient to make something of this round, but look how close these CTs have gotten themselves. Config been spotted and removed, but Refresh is within the site, and he's found a dink as well. Draken gets finished from the apartments, and OpTic, stellar hold there. Important note is Tess is getting 2 kills on that defense. This is something that Tom talked about on the desk earlier, saying that, you know, when we saw Tess is running that solo B earlier up against Chaos, he just was not getting anything done. He was getting owned every single time. So the fact that he holds strong for 2 kills before the trade comes through allows his team to pick up the round. Big one from him. Look to see more of this young player. 1 on the board now for OpTic. The AWP is here for MSL, nice and early on. Ancient forcing things up. 2 pistols, 2 AKs, and a MAC-10. This is not a pretty buy. Let's see if OpTic can deal with it. Molotov ready to be thrown into the apartments upon contact being made. And here comes the cavalry.
But Config and Tessez here on the other side, and they'll make quick work of this initial push. Tessez still standing, still fighting, and now just hidden away, trying to buy that much more time. And Nico's swooped in to try and save the day, and it's Freddy B left alone. The bomb's dropped inside of the site, and no one's giving anything up. Freddy's going to hope that someone's coming in on this wrap, and they are not. Nothing will be afforded to him. Now, a minute left on the clock and a 1v4 required. The bomb dropped, and at the feet of OpTic, they've swarmed onto it like moths to a flame. Even now, pulling another man round from that A site. So all 4 OpTic players here for Freddy to try and find. A very tall order indeed, and they can just play the trade game. It's not even needed. MSL's going to shut him down. So OpTic tying this one up early on at 2-2, and Tessez has been a step up from him in the early stages of this map. Certainly already looking a bit more comfortable inside of this B-bomb site.
Yeah, 2 kills, then 3 kills, back-to-back rounds. I mean, that's more than, honestly, I think he got in the entire CT side, you know, in terms of B defense kills at least. So very good effort. And now just Glocks. Ancient want to dry run their way inside of this A site, try and get a bomb plant default, but Nico and Refresh ready to receive. Great nade. 50 down on Disco. And let's see if Ancient can dance their way out of the palace. They're going to need some serious moves if they actually want to get away with a bomb plant now, considering MSL has also rotated in. There's the first man down, and the rest are out. Will they fall? A similar fate, it looks to be the case. 3 kills from MSL and a shutdown from OpTic. No issue dealing with those Glocks. It's a 3-2. OpTic back in the lead. And Ancient back on the bye.
I really want to see that AWP duel between MSL and Draken. I hope that's something we get to see. It won't be in this round, however. It is just these rifles out across the board for Ancient. Early Molotov does hold MSL back from that mid peak, and as a result, he's just going to watch that close top mid smoke.
That was his own molly. He was trying to put out a smoke thrown from spawn by Ancient to make it bloom in an unorthodox way. Give him a gap, give him a pick into middle, but no smoke down from Ancient. They're only now peeling into middle.
Nico, he looks curious as to what the lower tunnels hold in store, and what he finds might surprise him. Plopsky in with the opener. MSL now repositioning, and oh no, MSL, you're in for a world of hurt. He's stuck down in mid, but he's almost able to get away. Plopsky hounds him down. Config now up in window, will make quick work of Rusty. Has tried to at least make this round look doable. Config getting caught, looking across back onto short. Tessez and Refresh in the hot seat. Refresh spotted and now dealt with, and this leaves Tessez alone, but it's the lineup. Double kill from Tessez, almost the third, but not quite, as Plopsky snatches that round from the clutches of defeat. Very, very close. Tessez doing a good job of getting it down to the wire, but Plopsky going above and beyond for Ancient in that round. 3 kills from him.
And Plopsky, he was the top performer, or at least top fragger coming into that game earlier up against Crazy. 19 kills alongside Disco Doppler earlier on, so definitely keep your eyes out for this guy. Maybe not one of the bigger names, such as Draken or Freddy B, but showing up when it matters. Draken with the AWP, aggressive in the apartments. He's going to spot Tessus early on the car. Won't get a chance to take the kill, though, and Tessus actually re-aggresses right as Draken backs off. Luckily, no further. Ancient decide to back off towards the underpass. Look to take mid control instead. It's been afforded to them. OpTic don't want to contest mid this time. I don't blame them after how that last round went. Config unable to escape on short. MSL unable to escape from the connector. Getting gunned down in their backs. But now OpTic just sit inside of sights, holding crossfires, waiting for Ancient to make the next move.
That first move will be going back, grabbing that bomb. Draken's retrieved it, and now they look to try and split in to a from connector, from window, palace and ramp as well. This three-pronged approach. It looks like they boosted Rusty up into the window.
Oh, the timing.
That forward position held. Disco Doppler now knows that Config's here. And having a man trapped in the sandwich, this should be a free kill for Ancient, but Config's doing a good job of just overstaying his welcome, being a nuisance. Now tries to get out from the sandwich, but there's no way he survives that, not without some help from the rest of the squad. Plopsky now emerging. Well, spot refresh, but is going to get picked up nonetheless. And this A-side play, just 15 seconds left for it. The bomb's been dropped out. Oh, there is going to go down now. Getting planted for the ramp and mid position. They're trying to get down ramp, and Freddy B will get there unscathed. Rusty still floating around connector, now going to make his presence known. Picked up by Tessus. Draken over at Tetris has to buy time because Freddy B is going for this lengthy mid-wrap. If Draken falls, this round falls apart with him, and he has been deleted. Freddy B, he's got to get his running shoes on. A very long rotation in through mid. He's not going to get there in time. OpTic stick the defuse.
That was far too late of a decision to be made by Ancient. Like, I like the idea, right? Seems like a great plan, and, whatever, worst comes to worst, you save a gun, but not a realistic way of picking up that 2-on-3. Once you lose Rusty, connector side, that's when you should probably just pull the plug on that idea. Either way, nice retake from OpTic there, and great work from Config to just waste so much time. Ancient knew that he was in that sandwich the entire round, but they just couldn't get rid of him. Smoke on the molly, doesn't take a fight until the 20-second mark. Almost wins OpTic the round via time, but they still pick it up regardless. Pistols now in this one. And MSL, he's coming alive right now on the CT side. Flash through for Config. Freddy B's holding for it. The flash went too deep for him. So the refrag is there. OpTic getting maybe a bit ahead of themselves. That potential 5-on-3 is now a 4-on-4. And Ancient now have a gun to play with as a result. Looking like a potential B split here if they get their way up catwalk, but MSL's on the other side.
Yeah, that's really the versatility of that top con smoke, right? Is it gives you two options. You can now either try and play for the short control, or you can go through this smoke and take a position in connector, and that's exactly what Ancient are going to do. Nico's ready for it, but as that smoke fades, it's the sheer number of players there that catches him off guard. MSL's come rotating in, and he might have just saved the day as MSL sends Ancient home 5-3. OpTic Gaming locking in another. They shut down that attempted mid-plate. And MSL looking very comfortable right now. I mean, you think back to the game earlier on in the day, we didn't really have like an amazing performance from him. But here versus Ancient, he is coming into his own on the AWP.
In a very important game as well, right? This is going to send them flying up to the semi-finals. You want to take it as cleanly as you can, but sometimes you don't get the choice. Nico works that out the hard way. Plopsky finding the opening kill in middle this time. Ancient have a man advantage. Great utility usage from this T side. Smoke in the window, they flash Tessa back. Well, Tessa's back off short. Draken holds for the A-ramp aggression, but he won't be able to connect the shot. Refresh afforded a lot of real estate here, but the thing is, Ancient, they just opt to give it up. They don't want the fight. They back off 5-on-4. Now, the issue with that, of course, is it does lead them, low on options. If they go towards A, they've got to deal with an aggressive ramp player, plus they don't have a split. Luckily enough, A is not their object in their mind, it's B. Bomb up in the apartments and lots of players up on the catwalk, even in the ladder room already, so OpTic are going to have to deal with this, and they've rotated their second player over to do that, plus Refresh fully flanking on ramp. He might catch the timing.
Yeah, the question just becomes, do they have Refresh check mid, or does he continue with this apps flank? He will decide to check middle, and so as a result, he won't spot these players. He might still be able to come in and help out over at short, but Plopsky's already down it. They're already past this man at short. Config's now fallen, and Tessez here inside of the bomb site alone. While he does pick up the first man, it's immediately traded, and Refresh's forward position will get hurt over at short. He still helped himself to one. Draken and Disco Doppler standing, and Draken there peeking from the apartments. MSL's traded back. He's made this doable, and now it's in to the one-on-one clutch. The aggressive peek from Disco Doppler doesn't find the kill, but it will the second time around. They don't give MSL any room to work with there in the 1v1. They take the fight. Disco Doppler cements that round for Ancient. But it's another one that comes down to the wire.
Still a great call from Disco's Doppler, right? He spots MSL trying to throw the nade towards Kara and goes, okay, he's got a nade in one hand and AWP on his back. Like, if I just push this, I'm going to win the round. There's no way he'll be ready for it. Very ballsy move to call, but the right call to make. 4-5, keeping it close, and it's about to get closer. It's OpTic on USPs. Not a lot to play with. And 4 players just past Draken. He has no idea. He still won. A bit of a surprise. And they'll drop the bomb as well. That's a huge gun to pick up for OpTic, but there's still T's close by. Rusty coming in on the flank. Dink down to 7. He now needs to give it up, and Freddie B needs to pick it up, moving back. That AWP's been lost though for OpTic, and they're being surrounded. So this round looks to be over, and it is. Ancient, bit scary there for a second, but they deal with it. 5-5. OpTic's full USP round has little effect, but they've got guns coming up in the future.
Ooh, and some mid-aggression from OpTic in this round. Config trying to set up Nico to go for this top play. Deep smoke down, and Draken still watching it, but this is a hefty foothold taken in the opening segments of this round by OpTic. This double hold between Nico and MSL is so valuable, because now Nico, he can just keep an eye on lower tunnels. Actually, with no one in top mid or keeping an eye on middle from window, he will have to leave his position in mid and now join back up with MSL over in connector. But with a man advantage taken, not the end of the world. OpTic feeling pretty content with this one right now. Looking very comfortable at leaving Tessez once again alone at that B side of the map.
Look at this con setup though, this is brutal. Walking right into it is Popsky, not ready for Nico there on the org. Good at any range. In fact, the closer the better to some aspect. That gun is one-shot potential at close ranges. MSL, he's seen the cross on Palace, bit of a tag through the wall there, but 5-on-3, and Ancient are walking into a fully set up bomb site. 4 players here for OpTic, and they are just winning these fights lights out. Refresh gets aggressive with a flashbang. MSL forced off the angle, but not the end of the world here. Nico's going to be able to drop Doppler in the Palace. Draken gets himself a second, but surely that's going to be the last. Has to bail out of this round, save that AWP, and give OpTic a 6th.
Yeah, and it's just that mid setup, that mid crunch down in connector that's so deadly for Ancient. I mean, they've lost so many players. By the time they try and get into a bomb site, they're already staring down the barrel of such a significant man advantage. OpTic continuing to rack up a few more rounds over on this CT side. They break that 2-round streak that Ancient had strung together. And I tell you what, I mean, as far as day ones at DreamHack goes, normally, you know, you have a few close games, but a couple of one-sided ones as well. Today, it feels like they've all been so close. They've all been down to the wire.
And unpredictable.
Yeah, this really does feel like an event where I still don't have a clear picture as to who takes it. You know, usually we come into them and we have our favorites, we have our dark horses, we know what to expect. This round, MSL, he knows what to expect. This This A play looking to come through, and he's actually opened up. In with another, primed and ready on the angle. Draken with this salvaged AWP, trying to make some magic happen. But there's none to be found. No love for Draken inside of A.
MSL's just threading the needle, man. Gets a shot off ramp, scopes up on that headshot angle, waits for the peak. It's just perfect. And in unison with his team as well. Even helps refresh, swing wide, finish off another ramp player. These A walkouts are not working for Ancient. And much as how they didn't work for Chaos earlier, running the same thing on the same map versus OpTic. Very much ready for those contact plays. So Ancient, bit of a pause, bit of a breather. They've put up a decent amount of rounds so far, but this is where the half could start to get a little more favorable for OpTic. 7-5. Ancient falling a bit quiet, and no money to play with either is certainly going to make matters worse. Full Glocks. Got to give OpTic an 8th here.
Yeah, this is a pretty gut-wrenching call to have to make so late in the game. Having to take an eco, allow OpTic to likely move on to an 8th round. Almost the lineup. That nade could be so deadly. MSL going to rain down the artillery into mid. Org picked up it on the back of Plopsky. Looking to try and do something with it, but Config still in windows. Still could look to pincer in and shut down this play before it even happens. They try and boost the man up. Draken will be waiting close, but with this one Org, how much can you expect to get done? No armor behind it, so Aim Punch is going to play fully into this round. Config spots Draken on the boost. They're just toying with him at this point, trying to allow Plopsky to wrap around, and he will get to jungle, but when he gets there, he's beheaded. Config, head on a swivel, locking down the round. OpTic will be securing an 8th, and by the looks of it, only losing Nico in the process.
Yeah, those jumping Glock bursts are not going to work out for Draken. It's a nice clean one there for OpTic. Nice try with the Glocks. I mean, they strung it out for a while, but that's the issue with the Glocks. You're never really going to get much done. Even if you pick up guns, you're armorless, you're utility-less. And OpTic had such an advantage there. So clean 8-5 as we expected. Now the guns are back in. Now things get interesting once again. No AWP though for Ancient. And MSL has certainly come to life in this map. 16 kills already. Not even a half in. And we're not done just yet. Nico shut down Freddy running into middle. MSL up in the palace. He'll get spotted. Disco Doppler, a second chance at life. Not going to re-aggress there after he spots the AWP. And so OpTic, they just take a 5-on-4, then chill out post advantage. Rusty coming in through the underpass. Ancient got to be a little more aware of the connector this time, as that has proven to be a problem for them before. At least they have Draken creating a bit of a distraction towards top mid while they do walk out through the tunnels, although Config on the other side. Got to be careful if they walk close towards that boost.
Yeah, it's Config's position. He can rotate in so quick. All that's required is Nico just to really buy a bit of time, but it's hard to buy time from beyond the grave. Nico put down. MSL's going to join him. Refresh has been deleted. This A bomb site belongs to Ancient. Somehow, some way, they've got it. Config trying to do what he can from short, but the flashbang there is perfect, and he'll get deleted as a result. Tesses is so far away from this A site. He's just got to back off into round 15, hold on to the Org. That's Ancient. They salvage a 6th round. Some fantastic openers there to make it happen. OpTic, they had a good read. They had a good setup for that play to come through, but the shot's just being landed by Ancient. The angle's getting checked, and no stone being left unturned. This game gets ever closer, and I feel like we're only going to see these 8-7 halves today.
It feels to be the case, Harry. 3 games deep. Oh, they even find him as well. That's unlucky. Tessa's going down. Did he just get wallbanged out of the apartments? That is ridiculous. See ya. No gun saved. And 6-8 OpTic, I imagine this is their pause. Look at the money. It's pretty rough. At this point, it's like, do you want to play for the 10-5? If so, you've got to buy here and now. But it's not going to be perfect if you do. Great round for Rusty. And look at this.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd feel about that one if I was
1 second
Texas.
left.
Yeah, 1 second left on the clock. You know, your first LAN event of this size, you're on stage. And then,
I'm typing sure in all chat.
yeah. That's the one, isn't it? Where you just put okay. dot. And a tactical pause now called in for OpTic heading into the last round of this first half. They haven't used any yet, so they can definitely afford to give this up. They want to try and get as many rounds as they can. 9-6 would be the best case for them now. Ooh. Trying to go for the mid jump, but blindsided by the sheer aggression of Ancient. Now Nico's swooped in and tried to alleviate some of that pressure. Tried to help out over in top mid, and he has slowed down this offensive. This has given MSL a very crucial timing to get himself out of the lower tunnels, and actually now has a really strong foothold in the apartments. He'll keep on creeping forward on the back of it, so losing that little boost early on in mid might have looked like a real problem for OpTic, but it could prove to be one hell of a blessing in disguise. MSL still wrapping around in top mid. If Ancient go B, the site's empty.
That's the only danger, Harry. You say it could be a blessing in disguise. Well, a blessing for whom? Because Ancient, they are walking into a cleared out bomb site. I'm sure OpTic are aware of this possibility, but Tessus needs to have his gun out. They are very, very close indeed. He spots 2+, the bomb crosses to the site, and he'll commit to the fight. Maybe not necessary. Could have waited for his team to rotate in, but MSL, he misses a sitter. The bomb plant could have been his. Now he's got to stay alive, but they're still all pushed up on short. Plopsky will find him with another kill. Refresh alone. What a round of mistakes for OpTic. It looked perfect, but Ancient seemed to have caved in this round. Refresh dives in through the window. He's still got to deal with this AWP up on short, and he's not even seen it. Plopsky does finish things off. 14 kills for him, and it's going to be the Swedes making it nice and close at the end of the half. Another 8-7, but who will be the victor here? Last game of the night, last half of the night. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
And it is another split half right down the middle, as even as they come, 8-7 at the end of the first half, narrowly in favor of the Danes. But one round is all that separates them from the Swedish boys that are chomping at the bit to get back in to this map, to this series, and lock in a semi-final spot. OpTic now over on the T side, setting up outside of A. Freddy B's already spotted a man up in Palace. He's got to get out of danger here. Freddy flashed off. Still good for one, and he's been given a bit of time, but Config will cut that short. Players getting up close, and it's Tessus to find another Disco Doppler. We'll get rid of Bullet Magnet Config through the smoke there. He takes one to the dome, 3-on-3 with the bomb down, and MSL landing that chip damage, that dink onto Plopsky. Rusty's got the man in sandwich under control, and actually he's on the bomb. He's got a smoke, they're spamming for it, but they can't find him. It's falling apart, and Refresh, try as he might, not gonna happen. Ancient get the pistol round and now tie this up 8-8.
That pace was incredible set by Ancient there. They just run right back into the site. MSL doesn't get any time to play his post plant in the sandwich and hope his teammates have his cross. Those CTs, the second that bomb goes down, they're already back in on the defuse. So great work from Ancient. Big stick in the smoke as well. Not allowing Refresh to get that clutch off. He's a very, very capable pistol player. And OpTic, they've been left without an answer. Quick pause coming through for the Danes as they try and work out how to approach the rest of this half. They've got the option for that second round force buy if they do so, please. Bomb plant did go down, so we could be seeing 2 AKs. Maybe more, but OpTic, who have been keen just to take a flat eco when losing these pistols, that of which they've lost a lot of them, in fact. I imagine that would continue here on the T side, but we'll see. That's certainly something OpTic need to work on moving forward. These pistol rounds have been eluding them time after time, but yeah, it will be the buy. 2 AKs into the Galil. I don't really blame them. It's so tempting nowadays. These rounds are so winnable. But Ancient, look at the pace they're setting into this one. Fast underpass with 2. They're just going to chase Config down, but he is more than happy being trapped into a corner because that is where he's most dangerous. 2 frags from Config, and OpTic already starting this one off with a massive advantage.
And it's Config once again. I mean, he gotten off to a very, very slow start in this game, but earlier on, he was living up to the expectations that we have of this man, coming into the T side now, finding his footing that much more. He's managed 3 kills in the last 2 rounds, so he's already almost doubled his kill count from that first half. And if Config, starts to return to the server, starts to get back into that comfortable form, that's where he does look so terrifying. The attempted A-play, Draken back in CT with just a scout to defend it, hoping to get a bit of chip damage down, hoping to soften up some of these targets for his teammates, but he's still yet to connect the shot. Disco Doppler, he's saved the day, doubles down from jungle, he's made this doable, he's made it a possible round, but Nico's laid him to rest. And it's Draken now left alone. They heard the scout chiming in from CT earlier on, they know where he is, they have his name, his number. OpTic now just sat back in the 3v1. Draken's going to get finished off, and OpTic, they secure that force buy round and straight back.
Yeah, huge efforts from Config to get both those kills in the apartments as well. I like the call from Ancient, not even necessarily bad. They try and get ahead of the pace, the potential B-rush that OpTic could have thrown into that one, but Config just so ready. And I mean, how do you even come back from that kind of situation? Even though Disco Doppler gives his best effort, it was not meant to be for Ancient. Now they're the ones forcing Harry, 9-8. And this force pales in comparison to that of OpTic's in the previous round. It was AKs and a Galil. Now it's just pistols here for Ancient. And OpTic ready to burst into this A site. MSL, he's selling a B fake right now. It's not going to draw any rotates, but it will keep both Rusty and Plopsky occupied for the time being. Config looks for contact and he will find some, but with no kill presenting itself, OpTic don't want to jump the gun.
Ooh, it's Nika finding another entry, creating the space in this round. Freddy B and Draken, they've made it feel a lot more claustrophobic. However, OpTic, they might have the A-bomb site, but they don't have that man advantage anymore. Freddy B is going to boost up Plopsky, but they've made a lot of noise assembling this boost. Nico now knows that there's frags for the taking. He's hungry for them, but he might have bitten off more than he can chew. It's Config and Refresh now left in the clutch. Bomb down and it's planted for CT. Config up in Palace. Can still keep an eye on it. Draken on this ramp, back through ramp. Refresh going to help alleviate the pressure that much more. Finally deals with Freddy B over in CT. Draken's got to do something, and only 2 points of health to work with. Him be Config. Draken does it in the 1v1. Has a kit as well. 2 points of health, or 3 points of health rather, but somehow, some way, he goes toe-to-toe with the Iron Giant over on the side of OpTic. And he comes in clutch when it matters most.
How on earth does he win that as well? Config fully knew where he was. He has him lined up. It's just the wallbang not coming through. Not able to connect the shot through that wood. And a huge clutch on a round with just pistols, Harry. That was a forced buy. 5 pistols for Ancient. They get it done. AWP now on Draken as a result. The money is swelling. And OpTic, they are sore. Decent buy on their side, all things considered as well. I mean, they've done more with less, but now they're up against more. Draken sat over on that triple box. We still have Rusty peering into the apartments, jump spotting, playing for info. Ancient not too keen on contesting middle right now. Happy to give OpTic the room. I mean, it's not like they've got much choice anyway. These 2 SMGs don't exactly give them the range to fight. Down on that B-bomb site, Plopsky's just got to stay around the short corner. With already Nico deep in the apartments and Refresh joining him, we could see this B short split. That bomb is still in middle. It can go wherever they please. And with the smokes going down on the connector, that seems to be the case. It's going to be the 2 SMGs left to defend this round. Easier said than done.
Yeah, these rotations are going to feel a pretty uncomfortable ways away. With 2 players back in CT, you have to have these SMGs buy some time. And with this short split coming in, Rusty's time on this earth is limited. Plopsky now here alone. Disco Doppler to try and watch the cross, but Plopsky's been eliminated, and now it's Doppler here alone.
Oh, no.
Misses the timing there, does get some chip damage off onto MSL, but not enough to find the kill. The bomb now down, and OpTic, surely they don't steal another round back with this weakened buy. Disco Doppler opens this round up, but he's quickly shut out of it. Freddy B now rearing his head out from the market, has Draken alongside him, but sometime soon a kill has to come in if Ancient want to go for this. They do have the kit on Draken. There's a kit drop that Freddy can look to pick up as well, but these kills have to come in, and Testis winning that fight sends Draken packing. OpTic, they've stolen another round away. And they'll keep this lead up now 10-9, and they might even be able to get the AWP away from the prying hands of Draken.
Yeah, I think you heard that step as well. Swivels round just to make sure that Testis won't overstay as well and won't chase down that kill. Not a worry for OpTic. They'll take that round every day of the week. They came into that one not as the expected victors, with the weaker buy. 1 pistol, 1 Galil. 3 AKs, of course. And they get it done up against the AWP. So very, very important round there for OpTic. Won't be able to run their own AWP, but they will be able to run these faster plays as a result. And they already look to want to exploit that. Knowing that Ancient have low utility and therefore no incendiary, this is the perfect round to hit B, especially with this setup. Ancient have no one watching apartments. They are double short setup at the start of the round, waiting for mid contact. That won't be the case. OpTic are running into B. Plopsky trying to line something up with a deagle, but OpTic, this is their B site. This is probably their round as a result. We might just see some of these players save.
Yeah, I mean, Draken's certainly not going any further than CT with that AWP. He might look to hang around and try and find a few of these players as they exit, maybe play this bait and switch with Freddy B. So that if any players do go hunting and they're able to drop them, he can now look to retrieve those rifles. Same with the rest of the gang over here in the apartments. Problem with this force, though, from Ancient is, they didn't really have many options coming into this round, but, you've got to take another eco in the round following this. So either these pistols and armor really have to do a hell of a lot and try and erect this barrier a little bit sooner, or OpTic are going to be moving 12-9 up before we see that buy on the cards for the Swedes. Either way, it is not an ideal situation here for Ancient, to say the very least.
That was best case scenario for Ancient, considering what OpTic threw it into that round, right? Immediate B contact play, no flashes, nothing to signal it, and they get away with the AWP and the pistols. So yeah, this would have been an eco regardless. It's just good for Ancient to have another chance to run this by, and this time towards B with 4, solo AWP, but look at the map. OpTic are fully walking into the solo player, but maybe that's not in their best interest. Config's already been domed. Draken waiting for a little bit more. Almost hits that shot blind as well. Testis running through. Oh no, the bomb's been dropped. Draken's found himself a double. He just has to stay alive for a few seconds longer. Eventually dropped by Refresh, falling in from the top side, but it's still a 4-on-3. Ancient still have a chance.
Oh, and these pistols spamming through the smokes. They managed another. Draken, he got the ball rolling, and now the rest of the squad just have to finish it off, and they certainly might. MSL's left alone, and he's got to fall back down towards the ramp. The weapons are being retrieved now for Ancient. MSL, bomb is planted for him. Both these players coming in from mid are low. They tap the bomb to try and bait the initial peek. MSL, they almost line up for him. He's fallen back. Time's ticking away. Freddy B does have a kit, but they're trying to bait this peek, and Rusty's going to get the shot. Narrowly so, Ancient, they've stolen around with just the AWP and a few pistols and armor behind them.
1 HP on Rusty when he wins that fight, Harry. 1 HP, and he gets a kill with a CZ. You can't ask for much more than that. And what a unlucky couple of rounds here we've had for Ancient, right? They go for that heavy A stack with 2 up on B short, and they get B rush. They have to save. Then they send 4 players on B with a solo AWP on A, and they get A rushed, and they still win that round. Great work from Draken to find 2 defensive kills there from ramp. This is the man that we wanted to step up if Ancient were to have a chance to take this game, and they may have a little bit more chance than we imagine. MSL's gone down through the smoke, AWP for AWP, taken cleanly.
Draken just did the cheekiest little smirk. He knows that that is not a kill he should have gotten away with any day of the week, but somehow the stars have aligned. Testus has retrieved that AWP over in mid. Don't know what to expect from this man on the big green. Disco Doppler looking like he might want to challenge middle here. That could risk giving up the man advantage. Returning this to even footing. Flash now raining into connector, and Disco Doppler does just tuck tail. Gets out of danger for the time being. Config's worked his way close into Con. Refresh at ramp. Nico now leaving the apartments. He's going to go back and try and grab that bomb. So it will be the A commitment here from OpTic, splitting in through mid and ramp. Freddy B and Disco Doppler here with Draken available over in CT as well. It will be a 4-on-3 inside of this A bomb site in the closing 30 seconds of this round.
Flashes are good. Gets Draken off the angle with little information, but there's still a double setup on this site. Crossfire, already 1 removed. Config gets the entry, and there's Refresh following up. Now, they don't know Freddy's here, but they will take a look towards the balcony. He finds 1, not enough. Rusty's alone, and great entries from OpTic have put them in a 3-on-1 here. 15 seconds is going to be enough to get that bomb right down. Oh, no, there's a gap. Oh, Rusty. If he walked just a centimeter forward, he might have been able to stop that plant, but now he's got his exit route cut off by Config, and nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. 12 rounds for OpTic. Fantastic entries into that bomb site.
Yeah, that was a 3v5 into the A site that they were able to pull back and win with everyone surviving. So, you know, even with this kill going the way of Draken early on, they weren't able to convert on the back of it. Config with some monstrous entries, and it was a 4-on-5 round, but still, you know, they keep 3 players alive. When you're a man down, you go for the A site, take into a 4-on-3. The fact you're able to get out of that and keeping so many guns up is monumental here for OpTic at a critical juncture in this game. Draken flashed out of mid, and as he tries to make his return, MSL is there, and this time he'll get the better of the Swedish AWP.
Draken hesitated there while flashed, like he wanted to wait for a timing play to shoot, but his hesitation allowed OpTic to spot him when they crossed. So MSL was already posted up, and he's posted up again. Second kill of the round from this AWP IGL. One of the recent additions to OpTic, and right now proving to be a very valuable member indeed. Over 20 kills, top of the server. Ooh, that's the bomb. That's not how you want it to go if you're OpTic. That's going to get dropped into the underpass, and they'll have to throw it back up. But most importantly, where do they still want to go? Because they were walking up Cat. Now they go back towards the connector. Man up in the Palace assists this split, and Ancient have made the wrong read. They've pushed so deeply on A from Disco Doppler that they've cleared out everything except mid. And as a result, the one position that OpTic sent 4 players through has ended in them winning the round. Nothing Ancient can do. Have to save here on B, and that's very unfortunate. When you get that ramp flank in, you don't expect to just get pushed through the connector, but yeah, OpTic had 1 split in Palace. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even the Palace player, it's like, okay, what are the odds that the one place we've decided to not check actually harbors everyone from OpTic, and that does end up being the call. They're even able to hunt down a few of these players looking to try and save. You really want to get away with that AWP on Plopsky at the very, very least if you're Ancient here.
And if anything, dropping that bomb just makes more confusion for Ancient there, because, right, it drops towards under, and you're thinking, okay, are they going to take it under and go B, or are they going to take a connector and go A? Like, you really don't know. Before, you knew it was on Catwalk, so you could gamble on that B play. But the second it gets dropped, that's where the confusion arises. So, awkward round there for Ancient, despite the kills looking favorable at one point. It's not all about frags, Harry. Although it's mostly about frags, Harry.
And I mean, right now, one man who has those in abundance is MSL. He's been AWPing up a storm, and once again, he goes toe-to-toe with Draken. I'm curious if Draken's even going to challenge mid. This round, no, they put him back towards ramp. This is where he had so much success, was able to get that 10th on the board for Ancient, or 9th on the board at the time, try and break that curse. Early smoke down in mid. Draken's really not keen on going toe-to-toe with MSL anymore. Conceding this portion of the map are Ancient. Now, they don't have anyone even watching Connector here, so they do have to be a little bit careful. Rusty and Plopsky with this bait and switch set up over at short. Rusty's drawn them in, and now this is where Plopsky has to try and mop them up, but with the smoke down, it's very confusing over at short. He's gotten lost in the smoke. Now, trying to get through, trying to slip into the backline of OpTic. Well, instead, wait for that smoke to dissipate before he makes his presence known. MSL, will he be ready for the close man? Missed shot first time around, and Plopsky will get rid of the AWP over at short. Is that enough to find a round, though?
MSL even got the wallbang tag onto Plopsky. Like you say, it's still under question. Lineup kill from Tessis. Draken's going to trade it back. Nico just needs to stay alive, but they can wallbang the bench, so he's forced to fight, and fight he will. Draken's gone down. And the crossfire through apartments is going to be strong as well. He just has to stay alive. They're already in the site, and Refresh has dropped out. Disco Doppler coming in on the back line, but it's too little, it's too late. It's OpTic on a 14th round, and he can't even get the exit kill either. Unfortunate. And OpTic, 14 rounds to 10 here. This was a close half, Harry, and even early into this second half where neither team were able to get concurrent rounds, OpTic has finally broken that in the last few. 3 in a row right now. And looking to take us over the finish line, looking to take us to the semi-finals.
Oh, and they might just try and cement it with a complete disrespect. You know, no holes barred, fast A play, and that is the call. Testis on the entry, out from the Palace. Ancient, they were not ready for this. Testis has doubled up through that smoke. Even able to tap down Disco Doppler. Ancient, they've got to save. They've got to give up match point here. Semi-final point to OpTic and try and get 5 in a row with a broken buy. These rifles are all they have to hold on to. They will be able to juggle a few more around, but it's not going to be great, this buy. To try and have that be your comeback starter is really not where you want to end up. But it's all they've got to work with now. OpTic match point, 15 to 10. And a dominant T-side half from these guys. Might have looked split down the middle coming in to this second half, but since moving in to the T side of things, they've looked so comfortable. You know, Config's had a great recovery. Testis has been coming into his own as well. MSL's been finding and creating so much space on that AWP.
And the crazy thing is, right, Config, he's had a pretty good game, reasonably good game, nothing crazy. He's bottom of the board, Harry. He's bottom of his entire team. If Config is performing well and he's bottom, that's when you know things are going well for OpTic. Tess is on 18 kills, Nico's on 19. As said, MSL, you can't forget this man. The savior of the game right now for OpTic, and might just be over unless Ancient have 5 more rounds up their sleeve. Draken smoking the connector, OpTic and not going out through mid without their utility. They have managed to cross towards the top boxes. Plopsky eager to get some information. Doesn't want to walk into that AWP though. Which is still set up at the top of middle. In the meantime, splitting Palace and Apartment at the same time. This gives OpTic options. They can go wherever they want with this push, and up towards short seems to be the play. 3 players B side, and Plopsky will be first contact. Immediate trade from MSL, and now back into a 4-on-4 as OpTic look to take B. Or do they?
Oh, they might have thrown in the last minute change. And yeah, this looks to be just the mid-round call coming in from MSL to switch things up. Head towards A. They rotate back through T-spawn with this bomb, silently so. They haven't been keeping an eye on this side of the map, so they're very worried that maybe a man could have got aggressive down here towards the ramp position. That won't be the case. MSL will be clearing this methodically as ever. Disco Doppelin alone inside of the bomb site does have Draken over in window to help out. This rotation from Draken has to come in quickly, and him and Doppelin have to buy so much time for these rotations to come through from B. The Molotov's now raining in to try and cordon Draken out of this round. Disco Doppelin, what's he made of? Flash goes high, and that's thrown in by Draken. Disco Doppelin deleted, and now Draken trying to mop this up from the jungle. Will get one, refresh him with the trade. It's Rusty versus Nico, down to the 1v1, and Nico swings wide, 3 points of health.